opposite, like something that's dark and something that's also divine. And it has something to do with the lore of the paranormal creatures in the book. And also kind of, here's the divine family, and here you have like the black sheep, and it's like, who's the good brother, who's the bad brother. And I've actually come up with a few different titles that would work, and then I had my writers group vote on it. And luckily they all voted for, most of them voted for the Dark Divine, because that was my favorite. And then my publisher really, really liked it, and they're like, did you come up with this title on your own? Because if you did, we want to give you a job coming up with titles. It's actually a title by committee, but...
How's the sequel going?
It's okay. It's coming along, so it's fun to like be with the characters some more, and there's some questions that are left at the end of the second book, and it's fun to explore and figure out what's going on there. And I would say the sequel is definitely harder, but mostly because they don't give you as much time. So, because I started this book almost exactly 5 years ago, and definitely don't have 5 years to write the second one. So. Sarah.
Do you have like a routine that you kind of do Monday through Friday, or do you just write in spurts? What do you do? What's your process?
I luckily have a sister who helps out with Asher. He's my 3-year-old. Helps out with him a couple days a week, and then I have a niece around here somewhere who back there, and she's my mother's helper. And I love the summer because she can come a lot, and she'll come in the afternoons or the mornings and do crafts and play with the kids, and I'll go to the library or I'll lock myself in my room and work for a while. While she's at school, and the school year is a little harder, but Monday, Wednesday, I have about 5 hours where I get to work straight, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays I picked a preschool that's right next to a library, and so I drop off Asher and I go to the library, and it depends, and I really try to work during the day so that by the time Zealand's home from school, I can just do mommy stuff and help with homework and do stuff with the kids and that type of thing. But when deadlines are tight, sometimes I work late into the night. So.
Who's the first person besides you to read it?
Probably my husband. He's definitely, oh, someone's calling. Obviously they don't know me that well. But, my husband is an excellent reader. I know a lot of people, their spouses don't read their stuff, and they don't like their spouses to read their stuff, but my husband's actually very objective, and if he doesn't like something, he'll tell me. But he's also a really, really good cheerleader, and he'll tell me the parts that he likes too, and he definitely gets to read stuff first.
Why did you write the book?
You were probably out there. You didn't get to hear. I wrote the book because a conversation between a brother and sister popped into my head, and they would not stop talking. And the brother was warning his sister that she needed to stay away from an old friend who had come back who was dangerous. And so I just sat down and I started writing and kept on writing. So.
Have you experienced much writer's block, and what do you do when you have that happen to you?
The worst, yeah, writer's block, yeah. The worst writer's block I got was after I started getting rejections on the book. The first go around, I'd also just had a baby, and so I had, post-pregnancy brain. And I think the thing to get through it is to still sit down at that computer every single day and keep working. I also suggest bubble baths and lots of chocolate is what I do. And for me, for this book, it was starting to work on another project. I had to step back from this one, I put it in a drawer, and started writing another book until the ideas for this one started to come back. But now when you're on a deadline, writer's block can get hard, but it's kind of just a matter of just pushing through it and trying to keep going. Anne?
So, because of your deadline, are you still doing the same kind of process in terms of your notebooks? And
I'm hoping I'll get to, I'm still in like the actual nitty-gritty writing stage, and then I'm actually a little nervous about that because I'm like, I don't know if I'll have time for my notebooks, but I'm hoping to get the manuscript done within the next month or so, and then that'll give me a little bit of time to do the notebook process.
So you did go through with your first book. I think you said you did the whole novel and then used this process for that?
Yeah, like I don't do that until I'm done writing
Right.
the whole thing,
So you
and I revise a lot as I go.
Right.
And I'm doing that with this book a lot too. I revise a lot as I go, but then when I'm like done, when I feel like there's a solid beginning, middle, end, the words are I wouldn't recommend reading that book, the Self-Editing for Fiction Writers, until you really feel like you have a solid draft. Like it's done, but it's not yet. So.
Outline, or do you just go?
On the first book, I did not outline. I just went with it. As I got farther into the book, I would kind of outline what I was going to work on for the next few days. Go, okay, this needs to happen. I know this needs to happen. With the second book, I had to outline. I had to have an outline approved by my editor. And we went through about 3 rounds with the outline until we were both satisfied with everything that was going to happen.
Do you know how the second book is going to end? Or?
I do know how the second book is going to end, and I'm really excited about it.
A while ago, you said that you had somebody interested in your book, but they wanted to take something out. Mm-hmm. Is that something you can't say in front of everyone?
Oh, I can.
I really want to know that.
Yeah, there was an editor who was really the first one who read it at the conference, and she was really interested in it. And then I got an agent, and so I contacted her right away and said, "I've got an agent," and because I hadn't heard from her in 2 months, and she emailed me like immediately, and they'd all read it, they'd already passed it around everywhere, but they wanted me to take out the prodigal son part of it, and they said, "We just want you to write a straight up paranormal." And to me, that was the heart and soul of the book, and my agent was completely against it. I was completely against it. And he said, and to me, as this first-time author, it's the first time, publishers really been interested in my stuff. And he said, "Okay, this is why you have me. Step back." He's like, "That's not the book you want to write." And so he pulled it from them, but he sold it to someone else within a couple of weeks who loved the prodigal son part of it.
That's my favorite part. Sorry.
Okay. One more, Joel?
Yeah, my question is, you've submitted an outline, and I've done outlines, and I get to a point where I'm like, okay, this whole second half is going. Have you had to redo the outline, or how does that work?
I have done parts, and my editor said that. He said, this is our framework, but I still want you to, if you really feel like something needs to change, or you start going another direction. And so I'll email him every once in a while and be like, so that part's different now. And so far he hasn't protested. So far he's been like, "Oh, I think that's good." So it's been good.
So I just have one thing to say. We host some really famous authors here all the time, and you have totally kicked their butt. Thank you all so